somewhere inside North Texas, this is 50 Years with Shepp, a totally self-absorbed look back at the last 50 years in the life of Craig L. Sheppard. Over the next little while, Shepp will talk about whatever he wants, and you will listen. He will share a little history, throw in a live song, and talk about some stuff that you know you care about. Please join cameraman Lawton and Roadie Roman as we welcome your host, Craig L. Sheppard. This is 50 Years with Shepp.
Good evening. I'm Craig, and this is 50 Years with Shepp. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce the major players in my life from this year. First up is my mom, Alice Timms. Next up is my pop, Glenn Sheppard. My grandmas, Jane Lawton and Nellie Sheppard. And my gramps, William Lewis Sheppard. And lastly, of course, is yours truly. All right, give me a second. Man, always happens. Try it again. Oh, come on. What an hassle. Ah, there we go. Yeah. You may be wondering why we're filming in a restroom. It's my personal belief that at the end of every week, you should flush the turds that tried to float into your life. Welcome to 1963. Let's go. Welcome to the studio. I was born on 27 July 1963 at 3:18 in the afternoon in Dearborn, Michigan. To hear my mom tell it, I weighed 6 pounds, 11 ounces, and I was about 19 and a half inches long. We lived in the Detroit area for about 2 months, and we moved to a quaint little northern town called Charlevoix, Michigan. Pop took a job as the editor of a local newspaper, the Charlevoix Courier. Things were pretty quiet in our little town of Charlevoix until 22 November. That evening, Pop came home frustrated and angry. He told my mom that we were going to get a television because Kennedy had been assassinated, and he never wanted to be caught off guard again. The next day, my mom went to town to buy that new television. She met a man named Robert Timms. Bob was a local appliance and electronics guy, and unbeknownst to either Bob or my mom, their paths would cross many times again in the future. After my mom and Pop divorced in 1975, Bob and my mom would eventually begin dating, and in 1990, they would marry. She's still happy. I remember we raised beagles in our little country home. We had a little rickety barn on the property, and those little beagles would escape through a hole in the wall. And I'd chase them, they'd chase me. I loved playing with those dogs and their little floppy, fuzzy ears, you know. Just so cute, their little bodies, and you'd run around, it was so much fun. Anyways, they'd run, I'd give chase. Good times, good times. So a couple folks were born the same day as myself. Let's see who we've got for this year. Hong Kong-based Chinese martial artist, film director, and World Wushu Tournament medalist, Donnie Yen Yidan, I hope I pronounced that correctly, was born this year on 27 July. Also born on 27 July was founding member of the Minneapolis alternative rock band Soul Asylum. Bass player Carl Mueller. Sadly, 2005, Carl left us all too early when he lost his battle with cancer. Stay frosty, Carl. We love you. Some other folks were born this year as well, but not on 27 July. Seal, February 19th. Johnny Depp, steady ladies, June 9th. George Michael, June 25th. Coolio, August 1st. And on August 2nd, one of my best friends growing up, Scott Barrett, was born. On August 3rd, James Hetfield of Metallica. Whitney Houston, August 9th. What's the deal with all these August births? Is something going on early in the year there? Anyways, Eric Lynn Wright, or as most of us know him, Eazy-E, was born September 7th. We're going to take a quick break, but in the next segment, I'd like to talk about one of my favorite subjects, history. Stay with us.
Get the rope. Get the rope, Gracie. Gracie, get that rope. Oh, there you go. Get it, Gracie.
And we're back. I have a dream. These prophetic words were heard by over 250,000 people on 28 August this year when Dr. Martin Luther King stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and made his vision of a free America known to the world. Freedom, not just for the blacks of America, but for all Americans, regardless of color. It is now 2013. Dr. King has long since left us, taken by a cowardly assassin's bullet on 4 April 1968. He was killed in Memphis, Tennessee that day. 50 years have passed since his speech, and still, in this America, for which Dr. King had held such high hopes, we are still knee-deep in the quagmire of racial hatred. So many have marched on this nation's capital over the years. So many have suffered, given their lives, and had their lives taken. And to what avail? Have we grown as a nation? As a people? Will we ever grow up? Some would say yes. Yes, we have grown. But many would say we have a long way to go. I believe that when it comes to the acceptance of our nation's great diversity, it is the young that are the most mature. Sadly, it is my generation and the ones before that are the most immature. We need to pass the torch to the youth of this nation. Only then will Dr. King's dream become fully realized. Until then, those of us who believe that there is a greater good in the whole together than the whole divided must carry on his fight. It is our responsibility to take the battle to the bigot, to the cretin that incredulously is able to rationalize their narrow worldview of a nation with a singular race. Daily, we must work to eradicate this ignorance, to expand upon the truth that another minority once said so eloquently: infinite diversity in infinite combinations. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll talk about a few high points in the musical world of 1963.
Come on, Gracie. Oh, crazy eyes.
And we're back. Okay. On 27 July of this year, the #1 song in the U.S. was Surf City from Jan and Dean. For the year, the #1 song was Sugar Shack. Sugar Shack? Is that like Love Shack from the B-52s? Not really sure. Anyway, Sugar Shack was from Jimmy Gilmer and the Fireballs. It spent 5 weeks at the top of the charts. The charts in 1963 were dominated by American acts. That would change, however, in the following year, when an act unknown to the American audiences would set off what would become known as the British invasion. In February 1964, the Beatles would set foot on American soil, and the world would become swept up in Beatlemania. At this point, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the passing of a few folks that left us in 1963. On 27 July 1963, we lost the following souls. Major League pitcher George August Hooks Doss was born 22 September 1889. Hooks spent his entire career with the Detroit Tigers, becoming the winningest pitcher ever for that team. It's been 50 years, so he must have been a heck of a pitcher. American inventor Garrett Augustus, do we see a pattern here? Morgan Sr. was born 4 March 1877. And New Zealand aviator George Bruce Bolt was born 24 May 1893. While many other souls left us in 1963, no one more shockingly was taken from us than John F. Kennedy. President Kennedy was gunned down by an assassin in Dallas, Texas on 22 November. While many conspiracies surround his assassination, the official report still contends that a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, was singularly responsible. Kennedy's death still haunts many. Many years ago, my oldest son Lawton and I went to Dealey Plaza where Kennedy was shot, and we walked through history together. I tried to explain why it was important to go there. I could only hope that one day he would understand. Last year, I took both boys, Lawton and my youngest, Roman, back to Dealey Plaza. To my absolute amazement, Lawton did his very best to explain why we were there. Kids. Such joy. Okay, after the break, I'm going to play a little ditty I wrote back in 1988. Stay with us.
Oh, there it is. Get it, Gracie. Get it. Oh, get it, Gracie. Get it. Get it, Gracie. Get it.
Welcome back. This song was on my Friday the 13th, 1988 album. I was frustrated by the non-stop rhetoric of Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev. This is what came about. This is Big Storm. Like the dark, so afraid to see. There's something out there, is it me? I see the truth as it presents itself. God made man, and man made hell. Every day I live my life in fear of the unknown. I look around and I realize in this world we're all alone. Words of wisdom and words of peace that fail to keep us warm. The fear of war will keep us at ease, living in the shadow of the big storm.
Get it, Gracie. Get it, Gracie.
Well, folks, we're at the end of our first show, 50 Years with Shepp, 1963. I'd like to close by reading a few passages from a journal my mom wrote after I was born. Hopefully I can read this. It's kind of falling apart, so bear with me. My name is Craig L. Sheppard. I was born July 27th, 1963 at 3:18 p.m. I weighed 6 pounds, 11 ounces, and I was 19 and a half inches long. My eyes are blue, like all babies. I don't know if I buy that. And my hair is red. It runs all wildly all over my head. Mom's a poet, and I didn't know it. Dad and Mom took me home Thursday, July 31st. We had lots of company. Grandma and Grandpa Sheppard, my uncles John and Dave, and later, my Grandma and Grandpa Lawton. I managed to keep Mom and Dad awake almost all night long. On August 8th, On August 8th, I piddled up my mom's shirt front, right into my own eye. My mom had to give me a bath, and I don't like baths. Not sponge baths, anyway. I'm gonna have to learn to aim better. What? I'm gonna have to learn to aim better. That's what it says right there. Mom and Grandpa Lawton took me to Dr. Mike Sells August 12th. They went to have my navel and my circumcision checked. He hurt me. I'm not sure I like that guy. He also told my mom to feed me cereal. I'm positive I don't like that. It's made with cow's milk. And I like my mom's milk better. What? Wow, my mother wrote this. I like my mom's milk better. Besides that, oatmeal, it's hard to swallow. And it slops down my chin. And that means another bath. Or at least a face wash. So alright, that's Mom's journal. Next time we do this, we'll read some more passages out of the journal. Thank you for watching. Join us next time when we delve into 1964. If you know anyone that was born or died in 1964, and you'd like to have them included on the show, just drop me a line at Shepp, S-H-E-P-P, at shepp.ws. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/SheppTunes. That's facebook.com/SHEPP-Tunes. Thanks again, and have a great night. And we're out. Where's my hat? There's my hat.